So after a few nights at the disco, I decided it was time to remove my training wheels. And that it was just about time for me to go out and find myself a boyfriend. Easy, right? Except that in those days you still couldn't order those online. So you had to do it the old-fashioned way. I went to a party. And after I cleared up the table from every available hors d'oeuvre, the doors opened up and love walked right in. He was dashing. Salt and pepper hair, electric blue eyes, a daily swimmer, creative director of some sort of cable network or another, and a bit of a Martian. But I didn't know that at that moment. All I knew is that the mere sound of his voice made me tingle in a way that I didn't even know was possible. There's no chill, and yet I shiver. There's no flame, and yet I burn. I'm not sure what I'm afraid of, but yes, I'm trembling. There's no storm, yet I hear thunder. And I'm breathless, why I wonder. Weak one moment, then the next I'm fine. I feel as if I'm falling every time I close my eyes. I'm flowing through my body as a river of surprise. Feelings are awakening, I hardly recognize. As mine. I'm flying.
He's flying.
Look at me way up high, suddenly here am I, I'm flying.
He's flying.
I'm flying.
He's flying.
Overhead, over a chair, I can weave, I can even trying.
He's flying.
High up and as light as I can be.
As he can be.
I must be a sight lovely to see. I'm flying.
He's flying.
Nothing will stop me now. Higher still, look at how I can zoom around. Woo! Way above the ground, I'm flying.
He's flying.
I fly and I'm all over the place. You try and you fall flat on your face. I'm flying.
He's flying.
Over bed, over chair, look your head, clear the air. Oh, what lovely fun! Woo! Watch me, everyone. Oh, take a look at me and see how easily it's done. I'm flying.
He's
Watch out for fairy dust. That precious little powder has a really funny way of running out in the middle of gay flights of passion. So, 6 months later, Mr. the Martian needed space. Well, being out was clearly not going to be just quite as easy as I thought it was going to be. So, being the gigantic nerd that I am, I figured that the only thing I needed was to read every single book on gay culture that I could get my hands on, including the Profundis. But started a new tradition in me. Because I started collecting quotes on gay culture and photographs of beautiful men that I encounter along the way taking paparazzi set. Eventually, I put it all together in a book, Visions in Men. And I remember clearly the very first quote that I ever got my hands on. And in the midst of my breakup, the words of this man that I really didn't know at that moment, or who he was, came to me traveling through time as if they had been sent to me on a message in a bottle. And here's what it said. You're going to meet the most extraordinary men, the sexiest, brightest, and funniest men. And you're going to fall in love with so many of them. And you won't know until the end of your life who your greatest friends were and who your greatest love was. That was Harvey Milk. And yes, eventually I did find out who Harvey Milk was. And I found out that it was men and women of his generation that made life, for me, so much better. But the change has not happened everywhere. As you all know, there's places, some very close, some very far away, where a person discovering inside of them the kind of feelings I was experiencing cannot possibly dare to speak their name. Some struggle for the right to love who they want to love and be who they are. That struggle takes them, and some of them get lost in the woods. How I wish they all knew that they're simply not alone.
Mother isn't here now.
Do things, right things.
Who knows what she'd say?
Who can say what's true?
Nothing's quite so clear now.
Do things, fight things.
Feel you've lost your way.
You decide, but you are not alone.
Believe me, no one is alone.
No one is alone. Believe me,
Truly,
you move just a finger. Say the slightest word. Something's bound to linger. Be heard. No one acts alone. Careful, no one is alone. People make mistakes. Fathers,
mothers,
people make mistakes. Holding to their own. Thinking they're alone.
honor their mistakes.
Fight for their mistakes.
Everybody makes
One another's terrible mistakes. Witches can be right. Giants can be good. You decide what's right. You decide what's good.
Just remember, someone is on your side, our side.
Someone else is not.
While we're seeing our side, maybe we forgot they are not alone. 'Cause no one is alone. Hard to see the light now.
Just don't let it go.
Things will come out right now. We can make it so. Someone is on your side.
And it does get better.